and people with a certain quality. So unless you train and produce whatever you want to call them, volunteers, da'is, Muslim leaders, you can call them what you want, of a certain knowledge base and a certain character, it's impossible that this work will go on. It's impossible that our dreams will ever be met unless there is a crop after crop of younger generation. Okay, after the next. You know where the quote is from? Anybody? After the next. Anybody knows where that quote is from? Umar Mukhtar is a famous movie. So the Italians threaten him and tell him, hey, why are you fighting with us? All right, you agree to these terms, just be quiet. All right, and then you can do what you want. The other option is we'll kill you. So he says, it doesn't matter, because we're going to fight you as long as we live. And after me, there's the next generation. And after the next. He tells it very nicely and coolly. So until we create a certain schooling system, so to say, that continuously creates graduates who go into the dawah field, who go into the service field, who go into leadership field or whatever to lead the Muslims out of this situation that we are in, won't happen. And we started something called the Quran class. Every Saturday morning in a masjid there, we all get together, and it's an interactive discussion, although it's called the Quran class. Obviously, it's Quran based, but it's a discussion that we have had, like 1.5 hours in the morning every Saturday for the last 25 years. So there have been several crops of people who have not exactly graduated, because it's not a systematic course. Throughout, people who come from a very, very, very intelligent background, very highly educated, PhDs in the best universities in India, they come together and we talk. So that's an interactive class that I'm very comfortable with, rather than being one-sided and going on talking without even knowing what your side of the story is. It's not very interesting. Anyway, sorry. It's just.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and a good afternoon to everyone as well. On behalf of Serving Islam team, we'd like to warmly welcome you all this afternoon for a special halaqah and discussion. So I'd like to thank you all for again taking your time out on this beautiful weathered Saturday afternoon. This afternoon's lecture or halaqah is about the end of times, where we'll be discussing the issue of things in the current context of events in the world. We'd also like to express our thanks to the Indian Muslim Association of Hong Kong for coordinating with us on this session and their support in bringing Dr. Mateen to Hong Kong for this event. It is our absolute honor to introduce our esteemed guest, Dr. Taha Mateen. Dr. Mateen is a distinguished physician, a prominent social activist, and the managing director of Acura Specialty Hospital and HBS Hospital in Bangalore, India. Under his leadership, HBS Hospital has become a beacon of hope, providing accessible, high-quality, and charitable healthcare to those who need it the most. Beyond his medical and crisis response expertise, Dr. Mateen is a deeply dedicated philanthropist and mentor. He's committed to showing us what compassionate healthcare looks like, how faith translates into action, and how the youth and everyone else, meaning all of us sitting here, can empower our communities truly. As we mentioned earlier, today's topic is about the end of times, and as Dr. Mateen said, we can make it a little bit of an interactive discussion as well. So if you'd like to ask something to him, or if you'd like to share your ideas, please do. So without further ado, please join us in giving a very warm welcome to Dr. Taha.
Thank you very much. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajmain. قال الله تعالى بالقرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون صدق الله المولانا العظيم. It would have been great if I knew your introduction, but anyway, thank you very much for having me here in this very wonderful place with wonderful ideas and purposes for which we all join together. One of the greatest attributes of man is when two people love each other or join together or sit together for nothing other than the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will give them His shade on a very difficult day, on the day of judgment. So people who are here for nothing, I don't know you, you don't know me. It's just the love of the Prophet, the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the love of Jannah that brings us here together. And we don't have any other motives to be here today. So may Allah ta'ala accept it, inshallah. I'm given a topic that I'm very not comfortable with. The end of times. End of times is a very kind of traditionally religious topic. It's been a topic which people love it somehow, because it has actually very little to do with us. And so many times it becomes a distraction from the core of religion and core of what I need to do and what is in front of us. Actually, many of you are young. In the year 2000, a lot of Christian people believed that 2000 was the end of times. The second millennium is all going to be over. So that time we did a lot of reading. And it so happened that 1,000 years of Hijrah, now we are like 1440 or whatever. So when 1,000 years happened in the Hijrah, there were so many predictions that all the things that the Hadith mentions about the end of times is here today, and there we are saying there's nothing that hasn't yet happened. This is like 450 years ago. So there were Muslim people who said everything that the Prophet ﷺ said is all there, and this is the end of times. You know what the study of end of times is called? What is the study of end of times? It's very popular in Christian theology. No answer? It's called eschatology. Eschatology. Eschatology is the study of the end of times. Yani, what are the signs of the Akhirah? The truth that we need to search for, that is relevant to you and relevant to me. And that is one thing which is at the core of our understanding. Many times when we read the Quran, we read about Jang-e-Badr, the Battle of Badr and Battle of Uhud. And we read the context of the ayah. Something happened then and something, and so the instructions came, and as if that guidance was relevant to them. What's in it for me? Unless we read the Quran in a way that this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to me, there's no way we're going to understand the Quran. What is relevant in this to me? Of course, when we read the Quran, there is the meaning of it, And once you get into the Arabic, you'll get 25 different meanings of that. And then there is a meaning of what it meant to the people when it was revealed, in the context that it was revealed in. That much is there in the tafasir and everybody talks about it. But then the third part is, what is it in it for me, for today, for my business, for my personal life, and how I have to conduct myself. That is something we do not indulge in. We don't spend a lot of time on that. So it looks alien. The Quran looks alien. It's not for me. It's not my handbook. So until we read the Quran as if it is speaking to my heart, Quran is not too relevant in this world today. Anyway, Allama Iqbal ने बहुत अच्छा शेर कहा है. Muhammad Iqbal, the poet, told a wonderful thing that until, I'm forgetting the word, कि ज़मीर पर ना उतरे कुरान, गिरां कुशा है कशाफ और राजी, all the wonderful tafasir of the Quran cannot break the problems in your head unless you read the Quran in a way that it's speaking to you. So, from the Quran and from the Hadith, it's very, very clear. The verse that I just read, وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدْ. What does لِغَدْ mean? Tomorrow. Ghad is tomorrow. Tomorrow. What have you sent for the morrow, for the tomorrow? And what is the meaning of tomorrow? Is the akhirah. Is the akhirah. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقِ. How does it end? In fact, many verses where لَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِلَّا عَشِيَّةً أَوْ ضُحَاهَا. Surah Naziyat, verse 70, chapter 79, last verse. When man dies and he recalls his life on earth, the 50, 75 years, whatever we live here and go away, when we recall that, it feels like, oh, you're just there for a day, maybe a day and a half. How old are you? How old are you? You're 45. But it looks like yesterday I was in school, I was in college, just the other day. It's so fast these days have gone. 45 years look like one, just a jhalak, kya bolte hai usko? A flash. Just a flash. Life goes away. And we know through study of physics and stuff, there's a verse in chapter 80 on the Qiyamah, on the last day. What is it? سَأَلَ سَائِلٌ بِعَذَابٍ وَاقِعٍ لِلْكَافِرِينَ لَيْسَ لَهُ دَافِعٌ ذِي الْمَعَارِجِ تَعْرُجُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ إِلَيْهِ فِي يَوْمٍ كَانَ مِقْدَارُهُ 50,000 سَنَةً. You'll be taken, the malaika go in a day which in your terminology is 50,000 years. Their one day is your 50,000 years. Astronomical measurements are in leap year, in light years. What is a light year? And what is a million light years? And what is a billion light years? What is it? What is our life? Is just a flash. In the astronomical scale of things, our life is just for a few seconds. And the life of the earth itself is like for a few seconds. So we need to understand on the scale of time that we are almost nothing. There's a verse in chapter 21, the first verse. اقترب للناس اقترب. Anybody knows that much Arabic? Kharib. Close. اقترب للناس حسابهم. The time of your accounting is right there. There for you. It's coming tomorrow. There's a sense of urgency there. And you know what you're doing? Looking other way. Are my shoes all right? Is my socks all right? what perfume to buy and what food to eat, whether pizza or burger or whatever food you get. These are our concerns when right in front of us is a scary reality where you're going to be questioned. And man, you're preparing for so many exams, but you don't prepare for this exam. I come from a Urdu background, so I'm not sure how many of you do understand. There's a nice Urdu couplet, the poetry. Khadam su'e markhad. You're walking straight into the pit of your grave, right? The direction of your life is what? Towards the grave. Nazar su'e dunya. You're walking into this pit, but your face is turned towards the dunya. Kidhar ja rahe ho, kahan dekh rahe ho? Where are you going and what are you seeing? You're not bothered about where you're going, rather you're seeing somewhere completely different. It's such a sad reality of man that right in front of him. So the Quran talks about, even the Prophet ﷺ told that I'm the last prophet. And Akhirah is just round the corner. It's not too far. I just told you about your 45 years, right? So there are many instances in the Quran. There's a story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? How do you start? Alam tara ila allazi hajja Ibrahim fi rabbih an atahu Allahul mulk, right? After that, the next verse begins. I'm not quickly getting that. I need the phone for that. Anyway, so that's the story of the man who wondered and spoke to Allah and said, hey, how are you going to bring all these people back after their death? I'm a little confused. Is it really possible? So Allah decided to show him how he does that, and he kills him, he dies. And then he's woken up after 100 years or hundreds of years. Miyata amin, 100 years. And then he's woken up and he's asked, how long do you think you slept? He says, yawman aw ba'da yawm. Maybe a day or a little more. That's it. Even in the story of the Ashab al-Kahf, it's the same story. They sleep for 300 odd years. And then when asked, hey, how long have you been sleeping? He said, maybe a day, maybe a little bit more, that's it. So insan ko, man and his measure of time. Surah Muzzammil, how it ends? Surah Muzzammil. Inna rabbaka ya'lamu annaka taqumu adna min thuluthay al-layli nisfahu wa thuluthahu, okay, wa ta'ifatun min allazina ma'ak. Wallahu yuqaddiru al-layla wan-nahar. Wallahu yuqaddiru al-layla wan-nahar. Alima an allan tuhsuhu. What does that mean? Wallahu yuqaddiru al-layla wan-nahar. Alima allan tuhsuhu. I know that you can't keep count of time. Allah knows. And therefore, for us, of course, there is serious eschatology in the Islamic sciences. And it wouldn't be there if it was not important. The age of the Dajjal and how Isa alayhi salam will come back and what things will happen in the end of times has been of special interest under certain theological studies and for certain reasons. But for you and me today, we need to pray. How do we need to pray? What's the rule of prayer in this context? No. The rule of prayer in this context is stand in front of Allah as if this is the last time you're praying. There's no tomorrow. There's no second rakat. This is your Final last prayer. In fact, Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu is quoted to be saying that I live life as if when I close my eye, when I blink, it won't open back again. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the breath that I take will ever come out. You get that? And therefore, for you and I, what is relevant is to live a life as if this is your last. Don't even think you're going to go back. So that is the case. What does that make people do if you really live life like that? If you think that your closed eyes may not open again. You know, there are several du'as that you say when you go to sleep. Which one do you say? Allahumma bi ismika amutu ahya. Allah, my sleep is like death. This is death. And with your name I die, and with your name I get up in the morning. Ahyana ba'da ma amatana. You woke me up after my death. So, if you really live life like that, and we should live life like that, there's no tomorrow. There's only today. What does that make people into? How would that alter your life? You know, when people are told you have cancer and you have 5 months to live. A lot of people are told this. You got cancer, I don't think you're going to live more than 3 months. Of course, I mean, there is denial and there is rage and there's anger and then there's acceptance. We're not going to get into that. But really, a person who knows his life is limited and a person who does not think about it, what's the difference in lifestyles?
One who sees, or who can see it, is
Then
more
this
focused.
coming.
Is more focused.
More focused.
He's very much responsible in his time and
Responsible in his time. What does that mean?
I mean he does whatever is told to be done, like by Allah and by spirit.
And what about the other guy?
I mean he's a ghafla, He just-
I'll do it tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination, postponement. There's so much time to do it. Even seeking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God. See, there's one thing that we all want is forgiveness on that day that Allah says, come and you go. You know, those metro doors the other day, it wasn't opening up for me. I had the right card. It wasn't opening up for me. It's a kind of, hey, open. It doesn't open. Oh, you know, so if those gates of forgiveness open us, that's all we need. And the last opportunity that you ever want in life, Allah forgive me, forget it. I don't know what I did in life. I don't know. I'm not going to say I did this and I did that. Forget it. All I need is your forgiveness. So you said you would be focused, you would be disciplined with your time, you would never postpone matters. That is one thing about time discipline. What's the second thing? What do you mean responsible with time? Anybody? Sir?
Don't waste it.
Don't waste time. You'll be very efficient with time. Very, very efficient with time. There's something called Parkinson's law. Anybody knows what's Parkinson's law? Work expands to fill the time allotted. Work expands to fill the time. If you have 3 months, that same work will take 3 months. If you have it 30 minutes, that same work will take only 30 minutes. Right? Work expands. So you would be very, very, very efficient if you knew your time was limited. And what's the other thing? When you're responsible and when you have limited time, you would hurry up, make it quick. There, go, run. Say again? Want to do more. There's no time for it. Rush. So the Quran repeatedly tells you that. It says, Sari'u ila maghfiratin min rabbikum. What does sari'u mean? Hurry up, rush. There's no time. Seek Jannah. Do more, do good deeds. Seek Allah's forgiveness. Go ahead. There's no time for this. Don't waste your time. Sabiqu. What does sabiqu mean? Sabiqu ila maghfiratin. Race and overcome the other. Hey, I want to do it. I mean, there's some good work you want to do. No, I want to do it. You're giving 100,000. I'm going to give 200,000. I need to be at the front. I need to be the best. I need to be the best amongst all of you. If you know 2 surahs, I need to know 3. You get that? I can't be second to anybody. So there has to be a very healthy competition for doing good, more. Sabiqu, sari'u, fafirru ilallah. What does that mean? Firru. Farar, run, bhago, daudo Allah ki taraf, run towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, there's a certain sense of urgency, whether the end of times is there or no end of times eschatologically, but it's all our end of times. Our eyes are closed, they will not open. The breath went in, the breath may not come out. You slept, you may not get up in the morning. Guys, there's no time. So when is the end of times? Now! No tomorrow. Tomorrow is akhirah, you're done. Finished. So don't wait for Dajjal, or don't wait for Mehdi alayhi salam, and don't wait for Isa alayhi salam, and don't wait for those things to come. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is my life. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to be there. I mean, grab it. And this is so important. Because at the end of the day, kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut innama tuwaffawna ujurakum yawm al-qiyamah. All of us are going to die. And who did best in life will not be determined by our hierarchies here, by the honor that we have here. It won't be. It'll be a completely different thing, right? So whoever escapes hellfire and whoever gets into Jannah is the successful person. Now, the challenge in life, and I know SIT is, at least I believe so, is primarily a dawah organization. Is that correct? Primarily. You guys do a lot of things. But primarily a dawah organization. Dawah anywhere in the world is primarily Tawheed, Risalat and Akhirat. It's towards the unity of Allah, oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's towards the life after death, and it's towards prophethood that we need to call people. The truth is, everybody believes in God. 99% people believe in God. Of course, it's corrupted. Of course, there's a problem. But then it's very not too difficult to convince people that God exists. There are a small number of atheists. But in today's world, the biggest challenge of dawah is to talk to people about the akhirah. It sounds so stupid. So a lot of times we introduced Islam as peace, as compassion, mercy, charity, prayer, a lot of good things. Our religion is beautiful, family, prayer, charity, feeding the poor, taking care of the sick. Okay, so we are not known in the world as crazy people who believe in some kind of voodoo after thing. We don't stand in the world as people with this belief. I don't know how many of us have the courage to discuss this with. I remember as a very young person, I was in 8th grade, And I shared this with a Muslim friend in a Christian missionary school, with a Muslim friend. His name is Zafar. He's still my friend. Boys talk. I told him, last night I slept without praying Isha prayers. And, I suddenly thought I'm going to burn in hellfire. And I saw myself like that. And so I got up and prayed. I tell you, he was laughing on it and told so many people and made a big joke out of it. And he probably laughs at it even today. This guy saw fire, and he thought he was going to burn in that. Look at that stupidity of his. Well, I kind of enjoy my sleep and I don't even pray or do whatever. It's almost embarrassing to talk to our friends and colleagues and people that you're going to die and wake up one fine day. This has been one of the challenges. Everybody, the first surah of the last para, chapter 30, first para, first surah is what? Amma yatasa'alun anin nabail azim. And the surah is called An-Naba. What does this Naba mean? Huh? News. News about what? Nabail azim, the great news that the Prophet brought. It's a really big news. Hey! What was the news? Amma yatasalun anin nabail azim allazi hum fihi mukhtalifun kalla saya'lamun. So they are disputing this subject, and the subject is akhirah, that we are going to die and going to wake up. And somebody is saying, impossible. Impossible. Are you really telling me that I'm going to die and, go into the mud and then I'm going to wake up one day? This is not possible. And somebody is saying yes, somebody is saying no. In other words, there is a debate in society. Once dawah happens, once prophets come in, there is a debate in society. And what is the debate about? Look at this crazy guy. He's claiming that there is a life after death. Where did these guys come from? They study in HKU, they are science graduates, and they are rational people who believe in this complete irrationality. Have you been able to create a debate like that in society? Is Akhirah even a point of debate? Iran-Iraq war is, or Iran, whatever, US war is, Afghanistan is, terrorism is. So many debates in the world. But have we created a debate on the last day? Do people talk about it? Amma yatasa'alun, people are talking about it. La uqsimu bihaza. La uqsimu biyawmil qiyamah. Then the Quran starts with la. What does that mean? No. What you're saying is not right. In other words, people are already speaking about it. Charcha ho raha hai. That's the talk of the town. Oh, look at this guy. He's saying he's come from India and he's saying there is going to be a qiyamah, the whole world is going to go and all, the mountains are going to fly like cotton and the earth is going to shake, everything's going to be flat, and Jumiya Shamsu al-Qamar, the sun and the moon are going to collide with each other, and it's going to be a flat line, and all my fathers and grandfathers and everybody till Adam is going to wake up and stand in a straight line. There is a book in which every single thing that I've done is mentioned in one single book. Is it possible? Oh, now with all this, people say, oh yeah, it may be possible, one little chip and you can get everything in that. But that was not thought to be possible. Therefore, this dawah responsibility that we have about the end of times is to communicate in a very, very effective way to the scientific rational mind as to the possibility of it. The Quran in several sources. I mean, this is a topic that occupies a large part of the Quran. In fact, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ وَأَجْرٌ كَرِيمٌ. People, the good and the bad people, are based on one fact. And if today we are weak, if today we are weak, it centers around our weakness of faith when it comes to the akhirah, about the end of times. We're very, very, very careless about it. We don't really believe in it. We don't really believe. We say we believe, but we don't really believe in it. Why do we say that? Why do we say that we don't really believe in it? क्यों बोलेंगे?
Our actions are not reflecting.
Our actions are not reflecting that we do believe, because we don't have a sense of urgency with our time. We're rather casual in what we want to do. I remember my father-in-law, a very, very, very active businessman, and he survived several death scares. I know that he had lung cancer, and I took him to one of the very, very good hospitals in the US and got him operated, and he got better. And then what he did in the next 15 days, he was so active, and every dream and every plan of his, he was putting into action. He valued time. He says, God, I need to do this now. Therefore, that sense of urgency with time, what else should you have if you know that you're going to die tomorrow? Aur kya hona chahiye? What else? There's another thing that we always quarrel and always fight about. There's something that needs to come, knowing very well, hey, you're going to die anyway tomorrow. Anwar Saab. The end of times are there.
Leave it.
Let go. Let go. Leave it. You fight with your wife, you fight with your husband, you fight with your brother, you fight with your neighbor, you fight with everybody. I'm not going to leave you, okay? A lot of people waste a lot of time of their lives.
In some urgency, they used to do like this.
Huh?
In some urgency, they will do all these things.
So sad. Let go. Forgive. It's okay. Why is it okay? Why is it okay? I mean, I have a problem with you. Why is it okay to leave them? Why? Tell me two things. Why is it okay? Because of our belief in the akhirah, it is okay to leave. Why? Give me two things quickly.
Forgive and forget.
Because we are seeking forgiveness, and there is a verse in Surah An-Nur. It's a beautiful verse, chapter 24. I hope you know the incident. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha is accused of a certain crime. Wrongly, obviously. Hazrat Aisha's father was Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anha. And the people who go to town gossiping and telling, hey, did you know Abu Bakr's daughter? Do you know? You know what happened last night? Gossip was the social media of the day. And what are they gossiping about? Hazrat Aisha's daughter. And who is gossiping? They are relatives of Hazrat Abu Bakr. It's not just relatives, they are poor relatives of Abu Bakr. And they're not only poor relatives of Abu Bakr, but Abu Bakr is taking care of them financially. They are eating their food, they're living in his house, they're enjoying his charity, and then speaking ill about his own daughter. If that Abu Bakr was you, and your daughter was being abused, and your company was being lied about in public, right? And you were paying them food and water and electricity and everything, what would you do? Kya karte aap? And what's the right thing to do? Cut it off. And that's what he did. He said, these guys are not worth doing this. It's not worth it. I fed them their entire life, and today they're talking against my own daughter without even knowing. It's so bad. So he cuts it off. And that goes all the way to the heavens. In Surah Nur, he doesn't talk about him with his name, but he says, oh, Abu Bakr, don't you want me to forgive you? If you want me to forgive you, go forgive them. Let go. Don't carry your anxieties and your worries and your pains. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. The end of times are when? So, let go. Give up. Give up your claim. Property disputes between brothers. You're still too young. Oh my God. I'm not kidding. This is a cup in which my father used to drink water, and I want the cup. And I'm going to fight with you my whole life. So, although I'm giving you equally in this property, but the cup is the problem. The cup. Nobody lets go, neither he nor I. So, we keep fighting and carry that all the way back there. It's really, really sad that we don't let go, we don't forgive. And what is another thing which is very, very, very important if we're all going to die tomorrow and everything is going to be settled tomorrow? One is let go, one is time efficiency, one is a certain hurry and urgency. What else?
Don't worry too much.
Yeah, don't worry too much is correct, but I would call it patience. I would call it patience. Everything that you're doing, come on, go slow.
Be calm.
Be calm. Allah will reward it. This will all end. It'll go. It'll go. We generally don't build such nice personalities. And when Anwar Bhai said, focus, what do you mean by focus, Anwar? What do you mean by that?
Do something with full attention.
Mm-hmm. And the most important thing to be done with full attention is what? More precise. That's correct. But قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. The Mu'mins, the Muslims are successful because these are people who, for our discussion, they are people who focus, who are not distracted. So how is our prayer? It doesn't look like we're in the end of times when we pray. We can read all the hadiths that we want, but our prayer is not like the end of times. Like, seriously, I mean, reading the Quran is so refreshing. There are verses which says, وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذْ وُقِفُوا عَلَى النَّارِ. Wish you saw them when they were at the edge of the fire. In the Quran, many times, the future is spoken of like the today, like the present. Because for Allah, there is no future, there is no present, there is nothing. So the future is spoken like it's happening now. If you only saw them standing at the edge of the fire, about to be dropped in. You know those kind of verses, وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذْ وُقِفُوا عَلَى رَبِّهِمْ. When they are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If only you saw them. وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذْ يَتَوَفَّى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الْمَلَائِكَةَ يَضْرِبُونَ وُجُوهَهُمْ وَأَدْبَارَهُمْ. When the malaika are going to slap on the faces and slap on the backs and say, come back now. Your time is up. If you only can visualize this, the end of your time, forget the end of the time of the world, that's not my concern. Our concern is the end of my time. And when that happens, when you can conceptualize that, there are so many of these verses, very hair-raising verses, it really takes the life out of you. And many, many verses like that in the Quran. There's one verse in Surah At-Tawbah, talks about the ulama who make a lot of money. The corrupt ulama. They've always been there. Interestingly, last month, we did a Shia Sunni iftar. Okay? in a Shia masjid, okay, with a Shia imam. And we got into a major trouble because Maghrib prayer had to be prayed. And what do we do? So I said, we'll pray together. It was a momentary decision. We said, we'll pray together. So there was a Shia imam and we prayed together. And a bad man who does the social media stuff, he made a video out of it. One of them wrote a good heading. He said, Shia Sunni Unity Iftar. And the other guy said, Dr. Mateen prayed behind a Shia imam. And the first one did not hit any views. The other one was like viral. Everybody wanted to see this controversial stuff about praying behind Shia imam. After that, I got a little careful and I started, researching this. What does Imam Ibn Taymiyyah speak about it? What does Imam Yusuf and Imam Muhammad and Imam Abu Hanifa talk about praying behind an imam? Actually, the president of the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, a very, very big scholar, Maulana Khalid Saifullah Rahmani Sahib, he wrote a big article, not because of this thing, but in the context of the Iran-Iraq war, and he said, Sahih Bukhari has a lot of ahadith in which the Ravi has been classified as Pakka Shia, as guaranteed Shia person, and his ahadith that he narrated are there in Sahih Bukhari. And he said, great Sunni Imams like Imam Sufyan Thawri were the students of great Shia Imams like Imam Jafar Sadiq. They didn't have any problems there. And the most beautiful thing in the context that I was talking is, if they have said don't pray behind an imam, they've actually said don't pray behind an imam who is too greedy for worldly wealth. Don't go behind him. It's not okay. So greed for wealth amongst scholars. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu inna min rahbaniyuna inna min ahbari wal rahbani la ya'kuluna amwalan nasi bil batili. People who take the mal of the people bil batil in wrong ways and don't spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the day of judgment, yawma yuhma alayhi fi nari jahannam. And that gold and silver that they store in their houses will be taken out and will be melted, will be heated up in the fire of Jahannam, and then it will be branded on their faces, on their backs, and on their sides. And they will be told, enjoy what you kept for your future. You stored all this for the future, because your end of times will not come, right? We have a long, big future, right? So what do we do because of that future? So that's the other thing that you do if you know it's the end of times. What is it? One is let go, one is focus, one is time. What's the other one? It's all over for you. You're going tomorrow. What do you do? Yoga? Uh-huh. Empty your pockets for God's sake. Empty your lockers for God's sake. Give out what you've given for God's sake. Spend it on charity. Give your money out. It's not going to help for your future anyways. Your future is done. There's no future. Where is your future? Where's your future? In the Akhirah. So you're not planning for that tomorrow. You're planning for today, and everything you're doing is for today, and you don't even think of your tomorrow, and you don't spend it out. وَيْلُ لِكُلِّ حُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ. Cursed is that man who kind of accumulates and converts his wealth into gold and silver and land and does not spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Cursed is he. Why is he cursed? Because he does not believe what? Yeah. Doesn't believe what? No? Doesn't believe what? His end has come. He believes in the Akhirah. That's going to come like in the next century, after I die. My future, I have another 50 years to live. You believe in the akhirah, but you don't believe in the end of your own time. It's done. You don't know that. And when the time actually comes, Surah Munafiqun, last verse, Ya ayyuhallazi وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَّدَّقَ وَأَكُن مِّنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. When the thing actually comes here and you're gasping for breath, what do? So, God, give me 1 second. What am I going to do? Asaddaq. I shall spend all my good and be a very, very good man. وَلَنْ يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا. Allah will say, I'll never do it. Why? Why does He not do it? Anybody? Why does He not do it? Yeah, come on, yeah. God has to be kind, right? He's sincerely telling, God, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to go write all my checks and come back.
Take all the years, then
I'm going to do that.
end of the time.
Okay? Why is Allah so harsh and says, no, I will not give you another chance? Why? Bolo. Kyun?
Allah knows best.
Huh?
He knows
No,
best.
Allah loves? He knows best.
He knows best. You won't even give us so many chances.
How many times did you wink? How many times did you sleep and get up? How many times did you die and get up? How many times did you say, God, this is the last time I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a good man. How many times did you get? Did you get enough chances? Not many chances. How many times COVID came, COVID went? Right? How many times did you think you were going to die? How many scares did you get in life? How many times you were reminded about it? But it doesn't look like you are really caring about those end of times. So, last. Dawah related. One of the best surahs in the Quran for dawah, one of them, yes, not, is Surah Nuh, chapter 71. Inni da'awtu khawmi laylaw wa nahara. What does that mean? Inni kullama da'awtuhum litaghfira lahum ja'alu asabiyahum fi azanihim wa asarru wastakbaru istikbara. Thumma inni da'awtuhum jihara. Thumma inni asrartu lahum wa a'lantu lahum israra. What is that? If you know your task and your focus and your efficiency in time, you work like a madman. You work like a man with a mission. And Nuh alayhi salam was with a man with a mission. He was sent as a da'i. And what did he do? He spread his message, he worked, he went to people. When? Laylaw wa nahara. Days and nights. It's not, oh, it's time to sleep. Let me go and sleep now. No. There are some people who work in the night. So let me go and work in the night with them. And in the day, and in the night, and in the night. And there are no results. Results, what is the result? Everybody is running away. I'm calling them, but everybody seems to be avoiding me. And then what are they doing? Asrar, what's that? Azanihim. They're putting their fingers in their ears and they're avoiding me. If I'm coming from there, they're running away this side. They're covering their faces. They don't even want to talk to me. I am a person in this town who nobody wants to talk to. And I have tried every single person here. Nobody's been left out. Nobody, no single person has been left out. My message has gone. I have knocked on doors. I have gone privately. I have gone on email. I've gone on Instagram. I've gone on Facebook. I've gone on universities. I've gone everywhere knocking. In pubs, in bars, in restaurants, nothing has been left out. And you know what? People, when they avoided me, I started using a big megaphone and started speaking loudly. So whoever wants to hear, listen to me, because you're not talking to me straight. In other words, a believer in the end of times, a believer who knows that he has very, very little time to. One day the Prophet ﷺ was praying, the Iqama was called. He was leading the prayer. So instead of starting the prayer, he walked out. He walked out and came back in a little while. People are surprised. The Iqama has been called, the Qamati Salah has been told, and the Prophet is not there. He said, I had a little money out there. I had a little stuff. I thought it should not wait till my prayer is over, that I don't give it to somebody. So he goes, gives it, comes back. You know, as young people, that consciousness of time, wal asr innal insana lafi khusr. Imam Shafi says it is about the passing of time like the seller of ice. The ice is melting and the seller is in a hurry to sell that ice. Because if he does not sell the ice in so much time, the shelf life is so short that it'll all melt away and his capital is all lost. So we're going to finish this day very, very quickly. Min qabli an yatiya yawmul la bay'un wa la khullatun. Do it before it's too late. And there's no tomorrow. Prepare yourself. Send something for it. And do it now. Do your dawah, do your spending, and be patient and forgive others. And that's a great lesson for today. May Allah Ta'ala help us practice, understand, and live by these values individually as well as collectively, by forgiving people, by having a sense of urgency in doing our things, in a certain focus in what we do, and with the clear understanding that this prayer is our last prayer, and this sleep is our last sleep, and this eye closing will not open up again. What I forgot to say is we all know this, but how do you keep this alive? How do you keep this alive? Remembering death often, visiting the dying people, going to the dead people, going to the janazah, going to their prayers, visiting their homes, meeting the relatives, right? I mean, these are actions that we need to do continuously. It's actually going there and visiting, which will keep us grounded and will continuously remind us of our end of times, which is very, very short. May Allah forgive us all. Thank you very much for this hearing. Assalamu alaikum.
Can I ask